Well, good evening, everybody. I think everybody on the call knows who I am. I'm Mary Fete, and I'm the Executive Director for the National Foundation for Ectodermal Dysplasias. It's been my honor to be the leader of this great organization for the past 12 or so years, and I've been with the NFED for about 24 years. So I'm excited to be here with you this evening. I know that you're taking time out of your busy day, your evening, time with your family to listen in. And if you're listening at a different time, not listening live, we appreciate you joining. Also, we have some exciting information to share with you, just updates from the NFED and what we've achieved over the past year and what we hope to achieve over the next years, right?
And for those who don't know me, my name is Greg Klimovitz. I'm coming from outside of Philly, or my hometown is originally Baltimore. I always sneak that in there. So I just joined back in August, and I probably have to stop saying just joined as in August because time is
Yeah.
flying.
You're not the
um,
new guy anymore, Greg.
it's gonna be like 2027, and I'll be like, and I just joined a couple years ago. um, but yeah, I mean, we have some other folks on the screen who are staff as well. But yeah, I'm really excited to be a part of this team, Director of Development and Communications. And so the chance to share our story with all of you and those that are tuning in later about what we've been up to, how you can support this amazing community called the National Foundation for Ectodermal Dysplasias, as well as to learn a little bit about what we're up to in the days ahead. So some good stuff going on. Um, so
So
yeah.
we're really happy that you joined us this evening because it's really important to us, to all of us at the NFED, that you are aware and are well informed of what the NFED is doing, where we're going, our programs, how we're spending the money, because it's not our organization. It's all of your organization. It's our family's organization. And so we want to be fully transparent about the financials, about, again, how we spend our money, where we spend our money, and what's important to you. So we hope to hold these town halls a little more frequently just to keep you informed. Now, we send out a lot of written materials, and if you're like me, you get something in the mail and you might breeze over it, but you may not read it all. So we're hoping that this will help you understand better and be more familiar with what we are at the NFED.
And I mean, it's no secret that folks know that we're the worldwide expert in ectodermal dysplasias, as we like to say on our website. But the only advocacy organization in the United States dedicated to those living with this rare condition. But we did just recently, shameless plug, we did just recently publish our 2024 impact report. Our hope is that you've had a chance to look at it, to check it out. It's available on our website. If you go to, we can put this link in the chat in a moment, www.nfed.org/2024 impact. You could also scan this QR code here, and you can learn a little bit more about what we've been up to. And we're going to walk through some of the things that that are featured in the impact report, but you can check it out online if you'd like. But I think it's really cool to start with this quote here from an affected individual who has a rare condition, incontinentia pigmenti, IP for short. And she says the NFED brings knowledge together with a really supportive and active community. The NFED is an organization that has the infrastructure to support and make all the change in the world for becoming more visible, making sure that we can all get the care that we need, and especially the preventative care. That is one of my favorite quotes. Mary, I'm sure that you have lived this reality since you've been a part of the NFED for a long time. So let me drop that into the chat real quick. NFED, it's www.nfed.org/2024 impact. And that's the actual impact report if you'd like to check.
Yeah, please take a few minutes to page through it and read the highlights because it's really talks about our journey at last year. So I think it's very well done. So I hope you take a few minutes to read it.
So as we continue on, I mean, just some highlights of looking back. And I mean, we've talked a lot over the last few months as we've been pulling this together that the number one thing that we offer at the NFED is to support individuals and their families. If we do nothing else, that's what we want to offer, support them. And what's really fun is as we look back, 437 First Connect packets. That's direct mailings to those who have joined us online and then are mailed out directly a packet of information about the NFED, about ectodermal dysplasias, how they can connect with a larger community. And it's neat because for many of these folks, the NFED is the first place that they have landed when they either come across a new diagnosis or when their doctors or other providers point them in the direction of ectodermal dysplasias. So 437 brand new members to the community over the course of the year, which is pretty remarkable. And I think there's a cool quote from a former board member, and this is her son, Peter, talking about how they knew nothing about ectodermal dysplasias. I love when I remember interviewing her. She said, "We knew nothing about ectodermal dysplasias, nothing." And she was really emphatic. And what's really fun is how she talks about how the NFED allows him to be his own advocate, to support their family in this work, and then to allow Peter, as he grew into adulthood, and has now since graduated college and whatnot, to be able to be his own advocate for his care. That's the kind of support that we've been able to provide.
It's such a beautiful story to start from a place of really not knowing anything about the syndromes and, a place of fear and uncertainty. And then to have the support to know it's going to be okay and to see how successful Peter is today. It's just amazing. And you all have your own stories of those successes.
Absolutely. So that's a little bit about support. Mary, why don't you touch on a little bit about the research and treatment that we've done over the past
Well,
year?
I think we made some bold moves in research last year. Several years ago, we had an international conference where we kind of set the path forward for some of our research plans over the next couple of years. And in 2024, we held an international wound healing conference. We held it at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Dr. Lau was one of our hosts, and Dr. Marinka Koster, both were PIs. And we brought researchers from across the world who are experts in wound healing to help us solve the horrific problem that is associated with the P63s, terrible wounds that are very difficult to heal. But our goal is to not only make progress for our community, but for many other communities, rare conditions that suffer from bad wounds, bad skin disease. So we have a plan set to move forward, but that's just one of the things that we did last year in terms of research. And we continue to support the Life clinical trials. It's research that the NFED started many years ago. We supported the initial studies that led to these clinical trials, and we continue to support families by providing accurate information and support so that they can make an informed decision as to whether they qualify for the clinical trial and if they really want to participate. So our role is vital in providing information for families. In terms of treatments, we're constantly working on new dental treatment centers so that we can refer our families to quality dental care and really so much more, helping families with treatment and guidelines, whether it's for taking care of your skin or dental treatment guidelines, always trying to improve access to care.
And there's so many other things that we could talk about, but it'd be best to not just listen to us talk about it. So we have a couple short clips we want to share with you about those two things that Mary mentioned. Here's first a story of Maddie, who recently got her first set of dentures. And her story was a blog that we featured actually back in February, but we count it as the past 12 years because it didn't just happen in February. We wrote this story in February. The journey to her dental care actually has been way before February. So we shared this as a part of our impact.
A long process.
I love is that she was always nervous about whether or not the tooth fairy was going to come. It
Oh,
reminds us of what these children are navigating at such a young age. But then the community that surrounds them and growing up to then share her first smile in a school picture, that's powerful.
priceless.
Yeah. And that leads to the ED life. You might know some of these familiar faces here. I believe Mary, that's Bennett right there to the left.
Mhm.
You want to share anything about Bennett that you know?
Only that, his mom, they participated in the clinical trial. Well, it wasn't even clinical trials when they participated. Many of you know their story. They went to Germany to be treated by Dr. Holmes Schneider before the clinical trials started. And the NFED helped support their travels and support them in their travels. But Bennett sweats normally. He's a very lively, energetic little boy, and his parents are very, very happy that they participated in the in in the treatment. So
And then the
very
guy
happy
to the
story.
right is also on this call.
And
Uh,
who is the guy to the right?
He's probably thrilled that we're going to show this video. But it's a way to remind us that participation in the ED Life clinical trial is an important thing, not just for mothers to be aware of, but for those who are gene carriers to be able to share the story of this trial so that we can spread the word so more can participate in the trial. We always remind ourselves as a team that um, when you're pregnant already, like, or you've already had your kid, especially, well, then this trial is not where you're at. You need to catch folks before then. And so our hope is those that are gene carriers can spread the word about this clinical trial, whether they're grandfathers or grandmothers or
Right.
sisters or family members or friends that are aware of those that may be gene carriers to spread the word about this opportunity.
And that's probably what, Greg, don't you think, why we have so much communication about the clinical trials is that if you don't know, you don't have the opportunity to make that decision. It's taken
Exactly.
out of your hands. So you miss an opportunity.
So why don't we hear from Charlie?
And as an adult, hair is obviously not an issue for me anymore. Uh, some due to genetics and some due to my own razor at home. But, the two things that I struggle with as an adult are, sweating and my respiratory sinus issues. So if it could have helped, literally eliminate the two things that affect me most as an adult, that would be a game changer. Obviously, I don't fit the criteria for the trial. If I did and filled all those criteria, I would sign up for it in a heartbeat. And yes, little Charlie is nowhere near childbearing age yet. But whenever that day came, if that day was today and she was old enough, I mean, obviously you can't tell your kids what to do. I think we all know that, but I would certainly nudge her in that direction as best I could because, the upside is, to me, is worth it.
Simply amazing.
I get chills. I'm literally getting chills every time I think about like what a small organization that way perceives to be being here 7 months.
Me too. I think about the journey to this point and it makes me cry.
And so, I mean, the others are more about some data a lot of the times too. And we got real numbers on prevalence study, Mary.
Yeah,
Whoops.
and that is really huge because since I've been at the NFED, we've always kind of beat around the bush about the numbers. We pulled old data. We really didn't have accurate prevalence data. But thanks to Dr. Butcher and Dr. Fete, we have some really good prevalence data that was published in the American Journal of Medical Genetics. And it's important for a lot of reasons. It's important for us to know as a community the prevalence rates and where to direct our resources and how to best support these families. It's also important when you're looking for funding or you need to report numbers on every grant that I've ever applied for. And without numbers, it can't apply. So it's important in that regard too. But I think it helps us better understand the community that we serve. And Greg, did you put the link in the chat?
Yeah, I put the link in the chat to the prevalence study. There, I mean, it's such a powerful way to look at it. I mean, speaking of Charlie, I remember him saying on social media, Charlie, you can put this in chat if you would like. I think he had said at one point he thought he was 1 in 1 million, and then now
Well, he is.
he knows fully what number he is now in terms of his percentages. And I believe the prevalence study now is showing us that 14.5 out of every 100,000 new births is the prevalence study data. So and so it's really just a remarkable study and work that's been done that gives a name and a number to people's story.
Yeah, you should take a little bit of time to read it because it breaks down 6 syndromes. So we specifically have numbers for 6 of the ectodermal dysplasia syndromes.
Yeah. We did grow our team, so I'm here. I'm one of the things of your impact report. So thank you for all that you've done to make it possible for me to join this team. We also have hired 2 new staff members. Andy Kez, who is our communications coordinator, who has done remarkable work in our social media, email marketing, website management, and other things that she's brought to the table. She's actually on the call here too. Andy, feel free to give a shout on the chat if you'd like. Isabella is our development coordinator, who's really hit the ground running on managing a lot of our grants, doing a lot of work with our volunteers and family fundraisers support, and has constantly said she wants to be a world-class support for those that want to support the NFED. Has done great work as well. So and there's things coming down the pike too.
Yeah, and we didn't grow our team simply, to get more help or which we did need, but really to provide better and more services, more programs, better service to our community. And so these extra new staff members have really helped us stretch our reach and communicate better. I mean, I've had a couple organizations over the last couple of weeks tell me, wow, what's happening with your communications? I'd love to talk to your team to see what you're doing because it's clear, it's concise, and it's powerful. And that's what this new team has brought. It's brought us a chance to expand our communication and do more, do better, do more. So
why don't you keep going with the Capitol Hill, Mary? I mean, I wasn't there, so it'd probably be best.
Right. Well, we stood strong on Capitol Hill, as we always do. And most of you probably know that we have been advocating for Ensuring Lasting Smiles Act to be passed for probably 7 or 8 years. And it's a long battle, but we should be so proud of our community. I mean, I don't remember, Greg, 225, 250 up on Capitol Hill, meeting with legislators, bringing their kids to tell their stories. The stories are so powerful. And that's what makes this legislation so supported and bipartisan by Cameron, because it's the stories, it's your stories, family stories that really, really have brought Elsa to this point. And we're going to work really, really hard to get this to the finish line this year or next. So hang with us and we will share information as we have it, but it was a powerful statement to have so many families and children on Capitol Hill to advocate for what we know is deserved, right? I mean, we know that kids, adults deserve teeth. It's not cosmetic, it's medically necessary, and we continue to fight for this, and we will continue until we get it done.
And this was one of my favorite stories when I first joined the team, was learning about Alex and Alexa, who flew from Hawaii. I don't think had ever met anyone physically from the NFED. This is like their first engagement with our
Greg, are you frozen? Can everybody hear me?
now, and they
Greg,
can.
you were frozen for about 3 minutes.
Oh, whoops! Can you hear me now? Can
Yep,
you hear me? Yep.
yep.
So what I was saying is that they flew all the way out from Hawaii, and this was their first event that they participated in, and their son now has been born, and his name is Fox, and they live, I believe, in Texas. So why don't we hear from them real quick?
Hi, I'm Alexa. This is my husband, Alex.
Hello.
And we're here because we recently just found out that our baby to be got the WIN10A mutation and is going to be affected by ectodermal dysplasia. And our genetic counselors helped us get in touch with the National Foundation for Ectodermal Dysplasia, and it's been a huge relief. We've been provided with so much support and resources and research, and it's helped us understand what baby's gonna have to go through in the future. One of the biggest things that we know is that our child is not going to be born with any adult teeth, and at the moment we are expected to have to pay out of pocket for a lot of the dental procedures that will be needed in the future for our baby. But we're hoping with Elsa getting passed that there won't be the loophole anymore for insurance companies to deny us, and we're able to get the funding and the support and the financial backing that we need in order to provide the best quality of life for our future baby to be, who we don't know the gender of yet, so we're also excited to find that out too in August.
I love Alex. He's like, "Yep."
He didn't say much, did he?
No, he's yum. He gets me every time. I should have saved the spoiler that their gender is a baby boy named Fox till the end, but nevertheless, these stories have real names, real people who are advocating. And then there's if you've seen stuff we put out before, we also have a young advocate named Emily who used this story to become actually the National Civics Bee champion. And I remember her saying what set her apart, she thinks, was everybody was referring to the advocacy work they would do, and she was talking about what she actually was doing. And that was made possible through the work of the NFED. So that leads to the last two here. Mary, you want to hit nurturing the community through personal connections and stories? Because that's a huge component of what we do. We're not just an online organization.
Well, we are a people-focused organization. And I think the most important thing that we do is actually connect to families and help families to connect to one another, whether it's, through a phone call or Facebook or what have you, but also at family conference, connecting families to be able to support each other in a way that only they can do, right? Talking to a parent, being able to have that opportunity to talk to another parent or another child, or to develop a friendship, a network that lasts forever. I think that's the most powerful thing that we do. And our families sharing their stories in turn just is even more powerful. So I think the connection is one of the most important, if not the most important thing that we do.
Absolutely. And here's well, actually, before we go there, the last one that's on here has to do with advocacy. And I love how we've talked over the organization. It was made clear to me when I first joined the team is that advocacy is more than just laws, more than just legislation, but it's about giving voice to those who often have their voice not heard in certain spaces, or people that don't realize that there is a voice to be heard. And one of the most powerful examples of that has been this school advocacy kit that was recently published back in the fall. Our team has worked on that for a long time and finally made it public. A series of significant resources for educators that families, parents, caregivers can give to their child's teacher and say, hey, these are things to keep in mind that may require a unique efforts for you all to make sure the learning environment for my child is actually conducive to them actually learning. Whether it be the actual cooling and the temperature of a room, whether it be accessibility realities. There's just so many things that are made available, and you can scan the QR code here, and that resource is available for free. We could go on and on. There's so many other different numbers that we could talk through, but we've done so much over the past 44 years as an organization. We'll be leaning into our 45th next year, and it's just remarkable. What started at a kitchen table is now grown into the organization that we have now. So again, check out the landing page for the impact report. You can see it all. It's a flip book, and we'd just be really excited for you to even share that out in other spaces too.
So we also did some real hard work over the last year. So the board met at a retreat in April and covered a lot of topics, really just kind of setting our path, our road map forward for the next couple of years. And then looking at all the things that we do, they thought that it was time to revise our mission statement. And you know, the mission statement we had was great and it served us well. And changing our mission statement didn't change what we do. It just more accurately describes what we do today. This is no small process by any means. So, you know, the board had a discussion. We brought ideas to the staff. We brought in our stakeholders, our families, and some external stakeholders to everybody to give input, and finally landed on a mission statement that I think really more accurately describes what we do today. I think it's more action driven, and it includes the 5 areas that we really focus on, and we call them our 5 pillars. So the mission statement: together we enrich. Oh, you switched it on me.
I thought you were going to the 5 pillars.
The lives of people affected by ectodermal dysplasias by fostering community, providing education and support, and driving advocacy and groundbreaking research, creating a brighter future for us all. I mean, just saying that in a nutshell, it says who we are and what we do and what's important to us. We do have a shorter version. Together, we enrich the lives of people affected by ectodermal dysplasias, creating a brighter future for all those impacted. And I think that's a really great statement too. But I think the longer one really hones in on what we do and why we do it.
Yeah, and we try to put this in a graphic for folks to be able to see. And the way that I look at this graphic, and when we talked about it as a team about how to just illustrate it, so often pillars of organizations are forward facing, and it looks like some of the like Greco-Roman buildings that you see where you have these pillars and it's just forward facing. This is a top view of our pillars. It's a chance for us to see on the top, like, what is it that we're about when you hover above the NFED. And so you can see them here. There's a blog that I put in the chat. You could read a little bit more about what we kind of came up with. But when we think about the very beginning of it, has to do so much with community. Some would call it a family, all right? And most would. And that's at the core of everything that we do. And that's why we lead with that one. I mean, many folks think of the community from the family conference. We're really excited about where the family conference is this year. We're getting closer and closer to 300 registered. And so we're really excited about this year in Minneapolis, Minnesota. But it's more than just the community that happens at that event. It's the social media and Facebook groups. It's the phone call conversations. It's the fact that people talk to each other because of the connections that they made through the NFED, and then they become friends through family liaisons, or they visit when they're traveling through the state from someone that they met at conference. Whether it's researchers that they've gotten to know at different gatherings, the community is far and wide, and it expands to be getting closer to about 11,000 now. that are connected to us, but we do reach 121 countries in our database. So we're really excited about the community that happens through the NFED. The education component is huge as well. One of the things I'm really excited about that we just released today, I think it was today, maybe it was yesterday, during Mental Health Awareness Month, is actually a, a toolkit that can educate folks on how to find a mental health care provider and what that looks like for those who are navigating a rare genetic condition. But there's so many articles in our library. There's over 80. Our goal is to get close to 100 by the end of 2026. Just an incredible amount of resources. And so many folks say that the first way they learned of ectodermal dysplasias was when they Googled their symptoms and the NFED popped up online. And we hear that story over and over again. And then I even was talking to someone who's now a college student who says that he uses the resources that we provide literally to create a binder of information that he carries with him when he goes to the doctor and shares that with his doctor. And those are the kind of things that we do through our education.
And support, it's right in the middle. It's really the core of what we do, providing support for families. And we have been so fortunate, and we have such wonderful scientific advisors and professional support that really help us provide support for our families. We're very, very fortunate because they help us navigate those difficult medical questions or those difficult challenges that really require expert help, just like developing the mental health guide and how to find a provider. We have a new member of our SAC who wrote that information for us. So we're very fortunate to have that support. So we, in terms of support, we've already talked about family conference and one-on-one conversations, but it's core to our mission. And then advocacy, we hit on that pretty heavily, but we've been advocating since the day Mary Kay Richter sat at her farmhouse. Advocating, we naturally go to the Ensuring Lasting Smiles Act, but that's just a piece of what we do in terms of advocating. It's an important piece, but it is a piece of what we do. As Greg mentioned before, we have the school packet where we help families advocate in the classroom for cooling products, air conditioners. We have an insurance toolkit where we can help families advocate for coverage. And we help families advocate in their communities, in their workplace, and in their everyday life. It's an important thing to be able to advocate for ourselves and to develop the tools that our families need to advocate. And of course, research. I think that when I talk about research, Mary Kay Richter founded this organization some 45 years ago. I think I got that right. And it was always in her vision that the NFED would be a catalyst for research. It was very important to her. And I believe we funded the first research project a couple of years after the NFED was even formed. And if you look at our beautiful research trail, we have a history line on our website. It shows all of the work that we've done in terms of research. And I think we've carried Mary Kay's vision and her fierce desire to find good treatments and hopefully someday cures for the ectodermal dysplasias. We are the catalyst for ectodermal dysplasia research. There's no other organization that has accomplished what we have in terms of research. We have a lot of work to do for sure, but we've been a world leader in the research. We support researchers in this country and in many, many countries. We funded more than $3.6 million. For a small organization, that's pretty huge. We've sponsored 118 research studies, and our family participation in research is unbelievable. Always marching to help with finding information and learning more. So we're really, really proud of our research, and it's one of the 5 pillars and a very important one.
I mean, This is Emily, who I mentioned earlier. You could read her story by scanning the QR code. It's really cool that there's a big group of people out there who have this whole program just dedicated to this rare disease that I have myself. Those 5 pillars are what help support and provide the community and all that stuff that Emily needs. And now she's also a part of. Moving forward, we won't talk through each one of these, but you can just see that we have some pretty ambitious, I mean, basically 8 goals that our development plan has carved out that we would like to attain by the end of 2026. And we're really excited about the team that we have that's going to make this possible. The leadership from the board to our scientific advisors and patient care council and really each and every one of you on the screen or those watching us, anyone that makes up this NFED community are going to help us attain all of these goals moving forward, and I'm sure so much more. Um, so what this looks like moving forward, as we kind of slowly draw to a close for our time tonight, there are so many ways you can support the NFED through donations, non-cash and kind contributions. And before we go too much farther, the workplace and employer matching funds, we continue to meet with organizations that are reminding us of how simple that is. And we do have a tool on our website that we're going to make more visible for matching opportunities. If you have some sort of like 401k or some sort of personal investment through like a financial advisor. You can even look through your employers and see if they'll match. But Thrivent is one that we've been working with lately as an organization. But we want to make it easy for you to donate, to support the work of the NFED, and even to double your donations through maybe your employers or other opportunities you have to make contributions through like stocks and whatnot. Non-cash and kind contributions. You can design a fundraiser. As we mentioned, we have a team set up to help support you if you want to raise some funds on your own, whether through a 5K or through a gala. Or Halloween Bash was originally a family fundraiser and now is one that the entire NFED has embraced and taken on, and we're so grateful for that. You can volunteer your time, you can become an advocate, so much more.
And Greg, we don't do this work alone.
No way.
We count on our community and our family, the NFED family, not only for donations, because unfortunately everything costs money, right? But for the volunteer time, and we're grateful for every single dollar we get and every single minute you donate your time. There's nothing too small or too big. We're just grateful for the support.
Yeah, which leads to where we are now, our Spring Appeal. And so Spring Appeal is not as much of the driving one as we do at the end of the year, but it's a chance to remind folks that they can contribute even before the end of the year. And I love what Allie had. We've been featuring her story a lot recently, a young adult affected by EEC. She will be at Family Conference this summer. She's now a college student at Florida State University, and she actually is studying to be a music therapist. It's remarkable, and her primary instrument is her voice. She also
Remarkable.
She plays the auto harp as well. And she will be speaking about this over the summer. We've been telling her story. And I love how she talks about in the middle of this, she said she would love to be able to tell you it's going to be unicorns and rainbows and sunshine every single day, but it's not. But the community that has supported her since she was stepping up on stage at Family Conference for a talent show and using her voice for a Disney song has now led her to be someone who is a fierce advocate for people with rare genetic conditions, but also helping folks find the mental health care they need, even if it's through music. And so your dollars, even now, in these different capacities, some examples of how your smaller or larger donations can make a deep impact and help us grow. One of the areas we're really looking to grow this year is our recurring donors we call the Smile Makers. Monthly donors who allow us over the course of the entire year to support this work every month. And that's just one of many ways that you can support the NFED.
And Greg, I always laugh. I say, oh gosh, I hate to ask people for money. But you know what? I really don't. When it's asking money for the NFED, I will call anybody and talk to anybody. So if you know anybody that might be interested in supporting us or would just like a phone call to talk about possibilities, we're all in. So we're very grateful for your support and your time.
And thank you, Andy, for dropping that link in the chat for the Spring.
Yes.
You can check that out. We're still running for the next couple of weeks. And there's all kinds of stuff coming out on socials, on the website. You can go back and check out Allie's Instagram Live. If you have Instagram, it's on there on our channel. You can also check
They
it out.
did a great job with that, Andy. And
Awesome
yeah,
listening to her story.
yeah.
So the financials are available. We will not walk through all of these, but Mary's already touched on this. 86% of our funds go directly.
That we're really proud of. 86%.
Oh, yeah.
86 cents out of each dollar.
And almost 1,200 total unique donors, 15 supporting organizations, 11 grants, 21 total number of supporting foundations, and then 17 family fundraisers and the Halloween Bash. Thanks so much, Ruth Geismar. I'll give you a shout out here for all the work.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work, and we know it and we appreciate it. So,
And
well,
these are our stamps of support. I mean, it's amazing how everything we do as an organization, Mary, you talk about how we're really proud of it. We wanted to feature on the impact report too. Just a reminder that we are an organization that believes to do what we do in a way that is responsible. We're pretty proud of these certifications too.
yeah, we're really proud of the work. So,
Well, anything else from you, Mary?
no, I just want to make sure everybody knows if you have any questions. I think we're running out of time here, but we have what we call an open door, open office policy. You can call anytime and talk to any one of us. I'm happy to just share more information with you, go over the numbers or any of the programs or anything you want to know about. We're open book.
All right, and we'll end on this note here. As Cameron shared with us recently, he said, the NFED made me feel like a normal person and made me meet people who have changed my life for the better. The NFED is life-saving.
That's why we do what we do.
So, well,
Thanks,
thank you
everybody.
so much for your time. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at any time.
Thank you.